Come to do the damn Thizzle Rap Sheet podcast is here, and we're here. Episode 3, season 12. Episode. Let me say that again. Season 3, episode 12. It's been a long week for me, ladies and gentlemen, but we're here. We're live, and I'm just waiting for my guests to arrive. As you can see by the strolling billboard that you see below, we've got a true legend in the place, and I don't use that word legend often, even though you hear it often. We're going to talk to a legend today, and we're going to talk to a legend real heavy. This man has done so much, not only for the hip-hop community, but for the city of Boston, and he's taken his craft and his passion worldwide. And we're gonna let it all hang out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're in the building or plan to be in the building, we got a wonderful, wonderful show with a man who's gonna drop jewels upon jewels for everyone. So you definitely want to stick around for who we got. But if you're looking at the bottom, you already see the name. But you're gonna get to know the legend behind that name. Trust and believe. So I'm just waiting for our guests to arrive. Before we do that, though, let me take time to salute my company, Concrete Royalty. See this right here? Melanin influences everything. www.concreteroyalty.com. Go check it out. There's a whole bunch of things on there that you can get. I'm putting some t-shirts up there real soon. And, it's going to be super dope, all right? So you make sure you stay tuned. Keep it on lock. Stay tuned for that. And we got a lot of things happening, so want to take time out just to salute every single guest that we've had on the show. There's way too many to name, but I want to salute Master Ace for coming through last week. Beautiful, beautiful show. Thank you, Master Ace, for just taking time out to vibe with my audience, with my listeners, with my viewers. And man, it was a dope vibe, for real. Master Ace, though. New album on the way. You'll know you're gonna hear about it here. So just wait for my man to show. Hopefully he's coming soon. And there's my man. There he is. There's the guy. There's the guy. Look at this man right here. Shuggy Diamonds is in the building. What up, sir?
It's good. It's crazy because I'm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh yeah.
I'm actually heading back to the tel, and I was like, damn, I'm supposed to be there for 8, but it's cool. I'm rolling, man.
It's all good, my brother. I just want to I always like to do my intros when the guest is here. So and you're definitely someone that deserves a lot of worthy praise. I always like to give flowers to the legends while they're still alive. So so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Rap Sheet Podcast is here, season 3, episode 12. And the person that we got here, like I said just a few seconds ago, I don't use the word legend too often, but when I say it, there's purpose behind it. And the man that you see right here is a true legend, not only for lyrics, he's also an event curator. A little side story: back in my battle MC days, this man did an MC battle near Foxborough State Gillette Stadium.
Right.
I would come there week after week and almost would make it to the very end. Shout out to my man Lingo, who always beat me until the very last time, and I ended up winning. This man was close to that. Because this guy believes in lyrics, believes in the true art of battling, not that pre-written nonsense that y'all need to stop doing that. The real art of battling is coming off the top of the head right then and there.
Of course. The crazy thing about it, I was just in the lobby, and I was talking with shout out to Nice and Smooth because they're here for the show. So we was all just talking. Nice. And I was talking about I got to hop on this podcast with Daz, and I was talking about when I used to have this spot and do the battles every week. And when you won, the dude was mad as shit. So when you left with the bread and whatever, and we dapped it and whatever, so then they want to circle my man, the one that was doing the show with me, Justin. They was trying to pressure him. And then I come out the building, I'm like, what y'all doing? Yo, it ain't you, Shug. It's this motherfucker. I said, yo, wait a minute. That's my man. Plus, you lost. You know what I mean? Like, dude was salted, man. If you remember, you was airing him out so bad, then he started doing that touching you, with like trying to make, but it wasn't working. And it wasn't just me to let the people know that voted that. It was the fans making it, like that made the vote. So you obviously won hands down. You know what I mean? And then he was like, he couldn't even believe it. You know what I mean? But it was just dope. I never forgot it either.
And he was a talented guy. I mean, he beat me like 3 times before that. So I'm like, dude, like, I was mad every time you beat me, but I was like, you know what? Let me just take this L. I'll come back and just try again and see what happens. But yeah, salute to that. Salute to Lingo wherever you are, man. Good dude for real. But the guy you see right here, the king that you see right here, man, his catalog alone, working with everyone from Real Drama to Rex to to Crumb Snatcher. The producers is just, oh man, it's too many to name. A staple of Boston hip hop. Like I said, event curator. He has his own podcast. But the main thing that we need to honor this man for is this guy is one of the co-founders of one of the biggest staples in hip hop, still going strong today. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Gangstarr. That let's give a round of applause for that right there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. If you're watching this right now and you do not know who Gangstarr is, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. I mean, Gangstarr is on everybody's top 20, top 10, top 5, top 50, whatever list you want to create. If Gangstarr's not on it, I don't know what to tell you. You need to do your research because this is one of the founders alongside the late, great Guru, Gifted Unlimited, Rhyme Universal. So no disrespect to DJ Premier. We love DJ Premier, but these two are the founders of Gangstarr. Primo came a little later. So, ladies and gentlemen, right now, we got the one and only Shuggy Diamonds, Big Shug in the motherfucking building right now.
100%. 100%.
Yes, the street champ is here.
Yes, sir. You know
what's going on, Shug? How you living, brother? How you living?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm downtown Boston. Getting ready for the show tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Tribute and all that.
We definitely gonna chop that up. But for those that don't know the Big Shug story, myself included, don't know everything. When did you? And I don't want to say cliche. When did you fall in love with hip hop? But what was the first thing you saw? Whether it was a 12-inch you heard, a video you saw, what was the first thing that made you say, you know what, this hip hop thing looks dope. I want to be a part of it. What time frame was that, and what did you see that made you want to do this?
Well, what it was actually, the first and foremost was so I always wrote poetry, man. So even before I sang, as a youth, but I wrote poetry. So as far as I think I might have been about 15 years old, and a lot of like rap was popping off. It started to pop off a little, and this brother came from New York. His name was Justice. So Justice came from New York, and he used to rhyme, Rapper's Delight. And it was cool for him to do it live like that because he was a New Yorker, and it was fresh in Boston like at that time. So hip hop was like, and people were dope. They was happy to see him do that. Right, they were happy to see him perform that like he was the actual artist. That's how the newness to hip hop was. So he told me, he said, like, he knew I wrote poetry. He was like, yo, you could do this too. You could do this. And I really started just putting it together. So one night there was a party at a place called Black Philanthropies in Mattapan many years ago, and I just grabbed the mic and I was rhyming to I think the instrumental of Christmas rap or something like that. You know what I mean? So I was listening to Curtis Blow and them at that time and the whole contingency at that time. And it just like, I said, damn, I could actually do this. You know what I mean? But I wanted to be a singer and a rapper. Like, doing both. I said, what about doing them both? So that's like was my beginning. That's what made me, really start rapping and wanting to rap at that period. And then I started hearing joints and different records and the Run DMC's Tila Rock. That record really, It's Yours, really was like having.
Come on, speak on that.
And that shit had me open. I was like, you know what? But at that time, I was just always like freestyling like, and stuff. So I was just like, I didn't know that ultimately we would become, what happened. But I was just like, that him, telling me I could rhyme, and then starting to hear the rap records of the day coming along, I felt like I could do this. So
Yeah.
not even as a professional at the time, I just was always somebody at that point moving forward that was rapping all the time. That's why a lot of people can go way back in that time and know that like, yo, Shug been doing this for like a minute. Like, even when I was on my dark days and down and out type days and shit like that, I still was rapping and singing. I always had that. And I could snap too ferociously. So it was, that was the beginning of me rapping basically. When he
Right on,
encouraged me
right.
like that, and then I just started like rhyming with bad instrumentals wherever I went. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, we got the legendary Big Shug in the building, and he's just talking about his early influences, what led him to be what he ultimately became. So around that era, we had like the origins of the Juice Crew, BDP, of course. I think Coogee Rap is one of the illest street lyricists that we still got in this game. But it's funny that it's very interesting that you mentioned that you wanted to be a singer and a rapper. Back
Right.
in the 80s, that was like something that was more of like a minority thing. That was a rarity where you rarely saw MC singing
Not
and MCing at
not
the
at all.
same time and doing both well. I think only a select few did it back then. No, Kid and Play did it, Kwame did it, but
But
there wasn't too
but
many
well,
lyrical.
what you're saying they did it, but I'm talking about like I'm a real singer. So
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I like those
that's what
dudes,
I'm saying. Like, you are a real singer. Like, we ain't talking about Drake or none of these people that are doing it
right?
today, where it's like every rapper does it. Like, you really did it,
No,
but
they
you
was
really sang.
they was like doing melody type shit,
Yeah,
right? They couldn't like they weren't just like TJ Swan, with Kane and with Biz and all them. Like them dudes weren't singers. They just
yeah,
had. So I knew, like I said, imagine being a real singer with this plus rapping. So that's why
hmm
the original Gangstarr group of me and Guru were rappers and singers. You see what I'm
right.
saying? We sang and rap. You know what I mean? Our routine was that. You know what I mean? So Guru could hold the note. I was the lead master on that, and basically like that was the jump off our existence. Singing and
hmm
rapping. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Rest in peace to the one and only Guru. So, for those that don't know the origin, how exactly did you and Keith meet?
Well, basically, and for all those who don't know, Guru's real name is Elam. So what was happening when we was younger, we used to go to house parties. Excuse me, I'm just navigating my way to the hotel, right? But anyway, um, so when we was young, maybe about 16 or so,
Yeah.
block parties and house parties was the thing of the day. You know what I'm saying? It
Yes,
was
sir.
like, and Guru was a very sharp dresser. Even in the street, like as far as like GQ style, like yeah, I mean that's how he dressed, like that's how he was.
Yeah.
And I was more, rah rah with with from where I'm from, and so we in Boston, and for people who didn't know, um, you had to um, wear shoes
Uh-oh.
and shit to get into clubs. There
Yeah.
was no getting into clubs with boots, sneakers, or anything. So in order for you to get in the club, you had to wear shoes and shit. And um, in our day, you were getting in and you were underage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we're 16 spots. So I would see Google here and there. I'll see them at block parties here and there, and just kind of say what's up in passing. But
hmm
I knew him because his father was a judge, so everybody knew that was the judge's son, and
Yeah.
he knew me. I had my street reputation. I was known as Sugar Bear from Mattapan. So
hmm
I, we used to didn't call them thugs at that time. We was called hoods, basically. You know what I mean? So I was considered like a hood, and it's short for hoodlum, I guess, but that was what it was. So then, um, fast forward, I went to Atlanta when I was about 19,
hmm
and I was down there for a couple of years, what have you. Then I started, I was scrambling my way. shit like that. And I always been like hustling, and I'm down there working in Lenox Mall, but I'm hanging out with some people from all the black colleges there, Spelman, Clark, um, uh, Spelman, Clark, Morehouse, Morris Brown. So I'm on that block hanging with all of them. And then I remember that one time uh, there was some brothers from Boston, and I was hanging out with them because they was from Boston. But I was, they wasn't from my ilk, but they was from my place. And so one day I came to the campus, and somebody had took one of the dude's speakers. And like, so that stuck with me because I'm like, that ain't me from where I'm from, and I'm like, let that happen because they try to be quiet. So I go over to the football house with the cues and all that, and I knock on the door, and I'm like, yo, it's my man against the whole football squad in that house, right? And I obviously I got the shit, but I mean I'm a football dude too, but I'm for Dolo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm going to get his shit back. This is what I'm built of. So then I take the shit back and give it back, and then I say to my man at the time, I said, yo man, I can't fuck with you, man, because that ain't me. Like I stopped hanging with him. So I was a bit dejected. Like, man, I'm out here like that. So this girl Lisa from Mattapan, she was going to Clark College. Thank you. She was going to Clark College, and she said we got a homeboy over at that Morehouse named Elam. I said I know. I went to this be a place called the Phoenix, and on Wednesday nights, man, wow, that was the college night. It was 25-cent drinks, all kinds of shit. It was wild up in there, right? And so I
Right.
go and I run in the key and we chop it up and we smoke the joint. It was illegal, so we navigating. And Candy Girl was the hit right then. So you know what I mean. And we used to dance too. No front. Like me and Keith with Guru, we would rap, sing, dance. Like that was our
Right.
shit. Him. So big and little, that's what it was, right? So then from
Mikey.
that day on, we hung every day. You know what I mean? Like from that day on. And so what happened, we was just hanging though. He was happy like he got this street man out there in Atlanta with him that he know I'm thorough all day. I got his back. So he cut a little bit more loose because he was in college at this time. So he about to grab. I'm on working, hustling, and I was supposed to go to Fort Valley State, but that didn't work out to play football and shit like that. But so we hanging, and I'm pushing my weight and all that. He's getting it off. Him and a few other students getting it off. So we just hanging every day. And then this rap thing, use the music because in the lobby they got some brothers down doing a little jazz thing or whatever. But
It's all good.
so he started hanging every day. At some point, I hold on, excuse me. At some point, I
It's all
said,
good.
"Yo, do this rap thing." You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Well, he couldn't rap at the time." I literally with him, like teach the cadence, how to flow beats, write rhymes for him, because he couldn't even write or anything. He just imagine this was a senior in college, and this is how this is going down. He got a rapper. I've been rapping already since I was 15. You know what I mean? So I'm teaching him, and he's kind of getting it. He's getting it, but in the meanwhile, he has to graduate. So now he actually entered we were singing and rapping on in a spot called the Buttermilk Bar. So anybody went to those schools at that time, they know what that area is, the Buttermilk Bar. And and so um, uh, some girl came with me, him, and Tony Mitchell. We're doing our little routine, little harmonize and doing our thing and whatever. And this
Right.
girl said, "Hey, y'all want to be in this talent show?" And we're like, "We're not a group, but she said, "Yo, y'all sound good." So then we were like, okay. So we go to be in the town, so the joint's packed. This is the first time ever performing. You know what I mean? Guru and I and Tony. And Guru and I and Tony, and when it was our turn, the crowd went crazy.
we seem to have lost him. He froze. We're gonna get him back. Ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. The man froze. Shug, you there? Shuggy Diamonds. Oh man. All right, y'all. We seem to be having a little bit of technical difficulties. Hello? There we go. There he is. All right. You kind of froze a little bit, my brother. You froze a little bit.
My B.
Can hear you,
you got me?
Yeah, I got you now. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
We did this show, and then it was like, yo, we were like, man, we could really be a rap group. You know what I mean? So we started, doing more. We would go in front of Spelman, do little routines with the girls hanging out the window, and like, y'all sound good. And we go do a little areas around there, doing our little routine. And then he had to graduate, so now he went back to Boston, and I was still out there. But for some reason, I ended up going back to Boston. And now, the hip hop in Boston was starting to get a little momentum, so that's when we started going to parties, started grabbing the mic, rhyming, and then we started doing talent shows. I would write his verse for him to do his part. I write my parts. I'm writing both parts. And we had get dressed. He used to like to dress. And we would do our performances. And then we were also lip syncing a lot. Because lip syncing was a way to get seen in front of people too, plus getting your money. One of our favorite songs we used to do was Daryl and Joe off of Run DMC's joint. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
We won mad shows, like lip syncing and talent shows. We won mad bread doing that. So then, as we kept on going, then we started, like, he met somebody that he could record. Where he could record, So that's why I said, like, I'm good, we can do it. And we went over there, and I knew who the brother was, and he said, I knew who the brother was, and he said that he would, he said he could, excuse me. Oh, I think it's happening. Yeah. So, excuse me a second. I'm sorry. I just walked to the hotel room. So, we started doing the group. We didn't have no name, so we went in there to record. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't have no name, for the group. And the dude said, "What's your name?" And we said, "Oh, hold up a minute." So we go back outside. We're sitting on this wall, and we sat on the wall. Shout out to the Johnson family, because that's where we are at. You know what I'm saying? And I said, we're sitting on the wall thinking of names, and I wanted to be called the Gangsters. You know what I'm saying? And Guru was like, "Damn, maybe we can't be that," which we could have been, like, because you see with Ice Cube and them afterwards. Well, right. So I said, "Well, shoot, what about Gangstarr?" And he said, "Well, there's somebody named Gangstarr T." I was like, "Yo, fuck that! Like, we're Gangstarr, with two R's." So. Right. And then he draws it out, and I says, "Yeah, that looks good." So then we go back in the house to record, and we're like, "So we're Gangstarr." You know what I mean? The dude's like, "Cool." So then we started to record our first two joints. Now we're doing more shows, and we enter the what was it? Contest, man, on WILD, the radio show of the day. And we came in second place to some R&B chick. We never know whatever happened to her, but they put us second place. If you won, you was gonna get a single. They was gonna play it and all that, but it didn't happen. So we continued doing our thing. As time went on, we're doing shows to get more confident. We performed at Roscoe's Lounge, which isn't gonna be too far from where we're doing the show tomorrow. We performed at a club called Faces, Lansdowne. We was all over the place, but. Unfortunately, though, it was also a time of the era of crack and different stuff like that. And I was like in the streets hustling and dealing with addiction and getting money and doing wild stuff. So we eventually broke up. He left me a note and said he was going to New York. And I was like, fuck it. So I did a few more shows with my man Heavy Bass. So it was Sugar Bear and the Heavy Bass crew. So it was Fat Dude who was my beatbox, wherever he's at today. And you know, I was the rapper, you know. So we was doing a few shows, still getting money, you know, but I'm you know, on some other shit at right now. So eventually, you know, because of my direction and what was going on, I eventually got locked up. When I got locked, the first time I did like 13 months or something. And I did 13 months, got back out. But when I came back out, I was like, now I'm gonna be Nino Brown. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm on the corner I'm a corner the crack market, the shit. That's what I was doing. Trust me, heavy. And I fell again down the road. I fell again because I had these habits, man, gun habits, all that. So I'm doing sticks and whatever, and I end up going. You know, fortunately, I did 8 to 10 with 3 to serve. And during that time is when Guru started to ascend, and you know, start doing his thing. So I was locked up in Plymouth at the time, and I saw the Manifest video. One of my mans was like, "Yo, your boy," because everybody knew the story. They was like, "Yo, your boy's out here," blah blah blah. I seen that in the day room, and then I was like, "Damn, he's really doing it." But see, I'm shook, man. I'm on some other shit. I'm like, "Yo, he could be doing it." Slap the shit out of everybody in that video. Like, this is my perception. Like, you know, because I'm on some old, I'm salted like that, but I'm like, yo, them dudes, if they doing this, whatever, you know. But you know what? He wrote me one time, was like, yo, if you get your shit right, you know, you can be a spot for you. But then I was on some shit like, what the fuck, you know there's gonna be a spot for me. And I'm threatening letters back, whatever. So then it was a time I was watching through his shit. I was proud of the dude though too. And he was on D Bonds with Pump It Up and all these shows. I'm inside. So when I finally got out, and I wasn't in jail rapping and all that shit. I'm trying to get myself right for society. I get back out and I'm like, you know what? I said, hey, it is what it is. One day I called his pops and them out the blue, and they was like, yo, he's doing well and good luck to you and such and shit like that. And then that was that. And then some time went by and I was living somewhere and this cat said, yo, I know Guru. I got his phone. I got his phone number right here. And I was living in a rooming house with these other dudes, and I started doing music with his uncle, trying to get back into it. And he said, yeah, he got his number. I took his phone number, but I didn't call him for months, you know. And then one day I called him, and we talked for about 2 or 3 hours. And he happened to be coming to a place called the Hub Club. He happened to be coming to the Hub Club like a week or two from. And so he said, yo, I want you to come down. And I hadn't rhymed or did anything for a long time. So now I found myself, I went down there, man, you know, full force. I was a full force member. I was like, had that jail muscles, S-curl, you know what I mean? Mustache, the baggy pants, the tank top. So I went out there, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, you know, that's what it is, you know. And I probably look like I just came home. You know what I mean? So I go down and I freestyle the first time. And it's ironic because we got this show tomorrow. But that's when I first met Premier and Dap and the whole crew. Yeah. And also Nice and Smooth was going to be here performing tomorrow. So that's the first time, and how ironic it is all these years later. It's us, like, out here. And that's when I first met them in Boston. So me and Guru connected that day. And we were, like before, we were together. We were together for a while. It's funny, too, because the part of that time I skipped over was we had lived in Atlanta for a while trying to make it. Yeah. And, our house caught on fire. Oh. And then we went back to Boston. And that's when we started that trek before I was talking about doing shows and all that. Like, that's what happened. So, and then, you know, we went down that same road, which is the story I just told. But because people say we started in Boston because we're from Boston. But we really started rapping together in Atlanta. In Atlanta, yeah. You know, and it was a little rapper of the day back then. This shit was corny as hell, but his name was Mojo. And he was a party rapper. He just said the same words 100 times over. Any OGs or OG girls or whoever listen to this show, right? They'll know who Mojo was back then. You know what I mean? So, you know, but we got back together, needless to say, when I was released. I did my time. And then, you know, our Gangstarr was right at the ascension. And we started moving up to the top, and I was there for the ride. You know what I mean? Me and Preem, me and Premier still like two of the best friends to this day, like now, you know what I mean? So
absolutely. I want to go back a little bit in the story because there was a time when Guru, like you said, left Boston to go to New York. There was a lot of reasons why he left Boston, maybe because he wasn't getting the love in Boston like he thought should have been getting, and he wanted another coast. Personally, for you, when he told you he was leaving Boston to go to New York to pursue this rap career, what were your thoughts about that? And did you ever try to talk him out of it, or was you like, "Yo, I'm behind you 100%"?
Like that's not exactly like what happened. What actually happened was that he left a note in my mailbox. You know what I mean? So he had it on the letter thing. He had it in the letter. You see what I'm saying? So when he wrote that, and to be honest with you, this shit was mad sad because I was like, damn, like that dude was my best friend. I was like, damn, my man's taking off, you know. But one thing he did say, and we both said on some really like some pinky swear type shit, right? If one of us makes it and the other one don't, we'll come back and get the other one.
Right.
So it's ironic how that worked out because we really did say some shit like that, and because of that, you know, I was able to connect and see the world and do my thing. You know what I mean? And you know, the rest is history, as we know. You know?
Yeah, definitely. So the first time I heard you, the song was called "Crush," if memory serves me correct. Was that the first single you made? Was that the first? Was that your introduction to your solo career? Or was there a song or two before that?
Okay. So I'm gonna put you on that. Let me just get a little more light to the situation, you know, because as you can see, like I got the beautiful landscape of the city of Boston. But
you doing what you do, ladies and gentlemen. If you just now tuning in, we got the legendary Big Shug live and direct, Mattapan, hit Boston, stand on up. All right, Shug, go for it.
Yeah, so okay, I got enough like that. I think so. So run that back again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So like I said, the first time I heard my introduction to you was when the record Crush came out.
Right.
Was that your first initial single to introduce you to the masses?
So this is how
the story behind that.
This is how it came. The first thing I ever recorded was I believe the single that we did with Ill Kid, right?
Okay.
It was called we put it together first. That's when we became the group home. Jay with the Damager. I mean, we became
Gangstarr Foundation.
Jay with the Damager, Guru, Jay with the Damager, Malachi and Dap as group home, and me as Big Shug. Right. We came that situation together, like collectively. And J. Rue had Come Clean on the project.
Whew.
I had Stripped and Pistol Whip with Guru, and then Group Home had So Called Friends, which.
Where'd he go? Oh man!
But actually, that was Edo tuning in. You know what I mean? I think he must have forgot. I just told him that I'm about to.
Oh, Edo wants to tune in. Hey, come on through. Yeah, he can come through.
No, he's probably in the tail somewhere. You know what I mean?
Man, if you give him the link, he can definitely. I would love to have Edo here. That'd be dope.
You know, he because I just spoke to him and told him, yo, I got to get on here with Daz.
Yeah.
You know, but so this first song was Stripped and Pistol Whip, right? And then behind that, I got a single situation with Ian Mine called and that shit was my first singing song ever. It was a little before its time, but it was called Treat You Better. So I did a video, the whole shit, man. It was crazy. You know, it's been, you know, you can go and see that. People can see that on YouTube and what have you. It's called Treat You Better. So I did that single, and I did PDS, which stood for Pimp Dick Style, and a short story about that is that Biggie and that Junior Mafia anthem, Get Money, right?
Yeah.
That I think it was that one. We had the same beat. I had the beat first. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes I wonder if cats, you know, caught that sample or whatever, you know, because I mean I did it first. And some DJs would mix the two joints together, like would mix when I would come through spots. You know what I mean? But so that was my first thing, and then I got this situation. They gave me a little bread, but then it didn't work out there because they had me on the shelf. I was on the shelf. D'Angelo was on the shelf. a group called Shades. These dudes, and at the time they were putting all their money behind Vanilla Ice's second album and Rest Development's second album. Me being Shug, I'm like, yo, I don't know why y'all doing that. Them shits is gonna flop. You know what I mean? Which obviously they did. You know what I mean? So eventually, you know, I left there and I got on this sampler from Payday sampler. And when I got on there, I'm trying to think. That song was what song was that? Shit, I forget. But I did this song for them, and then I started getting momentum. Then, so then it was like I think Patrick or someone gave me money for a single on Payday to do that's when Crush came about. So for me, it was like, yo, you're gonna do this joint. Now, the thing people didn't know is that I've freestyled all my early songs. So from Ed flew me in. I flew in, and then we had to record that because now I'm like, yo, this shit's getting real. But I did FLA too before that on the Gangstarr album, Hard to Earn, right? But these are all freestyle. So Premier was like, yo, the funny thing is when he picked me up from the airport, he was going to drop a check off to P. Diddy because they got sued by Chuck D for using his voice on
Ten Crack Commandments.
So I was actually together when he was going. Since then they pieced it out. Shout out to Chuck. But we were going to drop that check. I mean, I had the shit in my hand and we had to bring it to the offices. And then he said to me, yo, you got something? He's playing the beat in the whip. He always played the beats in the car or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I got something. Shit, you know, I didn't have shit, though. I just, I'm freestyle, so I'm like, shit. So then we get in there, and he's playing that. And one thing about when you freestyle off the top of the head, right, you ain't going to remember that shit. Like, because it's like, you know, it's like, damn, you just did that right then. It's not like these people haven't written, so they did it before. So I remember doing shows and not really knowing the song inside out. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, damn, man, you know, but repetitive. The thing that happened was when I did Crush, 96, I believe it was, it started getting so much play, like Hot 97. I drove from Boston one day, from New York back to Boston, and when you stay in the frequency of Hot 97, I heard that shit like no bullshit like 7 times. You know what I mean? Dropping bombs and you know what I mean? And then I went to BET to do Rap City with Joe Claire. Shout out to Joe Claire. And that song was getting all this momentum. And I went to BET. When I went in there, they're playing videos on the screens. Like and it's all like you see Crush on all these shits. And I was like, oh shit. So now I go have an interview with him, but in my mindset, I'm like, damn, you know, this thing is really catching momentum. So at some point, I'm not just gonna be able to just freestyle. But then once Crush got popping, then I heard the president of Polygram, because Payday was a Polygram, I think, or it was a subsidiary of Polygram. Right. And the president, it was a top song. That shit was over. The Bitchin' You by that shit was over. Ice Cube and them's crew they had.
Lynch Mob. The Lynch Mob.
Yeah, it was over that with Dub C and
West Side Connection. Right.
It was over this shit. It was over. Common had a song called "The Bitch and You." I guess he was dissing Cube, and my shit was number one on them college charts, right? And I'm bugging because I'm seeing my shit on all these charts being number one underground like that, and I was like, damn, I straight freestyle that shit. So, and this is like this. So then the president screamed on them, and then they gave me this deal. So I got the deal. Now, you know, nothing ever really came out. You know what I mean? I turned in a couple of masters, but like nothing came out on there. So now Gangstarr's doing their album, and then it's Militia time. So Militia, I freestyled that while Premier was making the beat in the other room, and then
wait a second. So the Militia from Moment of Truth, that was off the top of the brain.
Yes.
Wow, that's one of my favorite verses, hands down.
You know, all right. It's crazy because our Premier's we had to get up because we had to record that, and Premier he got his boxes and shit on, like, you know, white beater. He's like, yo, You fuck with that, and I'm in the other room on the couch chilling, like listening, and I'm putting the shit together right then in my head, like right then, like not writing. I'm just, if heads only knew how I felt. I'm doing all of that shit, right? And,
Yeah.
right. So then when I got it, then I was like, yeah, I'm good. And when we got to the studio, I one take did that, bang, we was out. And then that shit became like, got my shit really on some next level. I mean, everybody was knowing the verses, Queen Latifah, Buster, whoever we ran into, they all know, oh, that's the first dude, right? So then when I got my situation, solid situation, then I knew, I said, now you gotta start writing, bro. You know what I mean? So then at that point I started like, okay, I gotta write these rhymes. So, but yeah, man, the shit was, I mean, around me, you gotta remember, I'm in these ciphers, man, with a lot of cats before they even came on,
Yeah.
freestyle, before they got put on. So I'm in ciphers like with Fat Joe, Method Man, Busta Rhymes, Cellar Dwellers, all these
Heavy,
groups.
all heavy hitters.
Yep, they wasn't even out there. They was just, you just jumped in them ciphers and you was in
Yeah.
space. You know what I mean? So I remember there was a club, man. They used to have big whole cardboard boxes full of fried chicken. They bring that shit out, motherfuckers will smash it, and then we go and get into the battle. You know what I
Right.
mean? We be in Atlanta battling Southern motherfuckers. Fat Joe be out there or somewhere else, or I'll be on with the crew. I'll be backstage. Rest in peace, Craig Mack battling and Rampage and all them motherfuckers like that. That was my shit. I'm slaying cats like a machete all day. So, you know what I mean? It was just a lot to it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. One thing I want to acknowledge and give you props on. I mean, yeah, like in hip hop, everybody and their grandmother wants to be from DJ Premier.
Right.
You had that. But one thing that I really loved about you and your commitment and dedication to Boston was always working with the local producers that had the heat in Boston. And one of the people that you worked with a lot was my man Real Drama. How did you and Real Drama meet, and how did that collaboration start to take effect to where it was with all the work you all put out together?
I mean, so ultimately, we probably did more studio work than anything because he, to me, is like a real good engineer. So
Yeah.
I actually did just a few songs with him per se, and he, you could get to listen to everything he had. So certain shit I would hear, and I'd be like, okay, I'll do that. But I was all the way in, so I'm like, you know, I still actually I got to go record something with him and the brother Insight. Shout out to Insight on like early next week or something. But we always, one thing is, it was just being comfortable doing videos doing sessions with him. So then out of that we get these bodies and these little songs. I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna throw that on my shit. You know what I mean? And it wasn't, to me, if the music was popping and people talk about, I always had pretty good track selection or whatever. And so it didn't matter what cast was coming from. It just like, if that shit was like, popping like that, I'm a spec. You feel me? So that's how me and him, because we became more than just producer type studio person. Like we're friends actually, So, we've hung out, shit like it. That's my man. So shout out to DJ Real Drama too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Real Drama as well. Legacy means everything to you. And if anyone who's ever been around you or seen you on stage, I mean, they do not see you without a Big Shug shirt, Big Shug t-shirt, or a Gangstarr shirt, always repping the brand of Gangstarr. But let's just talk about the city of Boston as a whole. When you was coming up, we had a lot of heavy hitters: Acrobatic Lift, 7L, Esoteric, LOG, of course, Crumb Snatcher, Rip Shop. We can name names for days and weeks. Concrete Click, and so many other great names that came alongside you. Who are you feeling now in the Boston area in 2023?
Okay, so as we back that up, a lot of people that you mentioned, a lot of people you mentioned, they were kind of afterward. Like we were all like there, but I was kind of like before because I'm always already the movement. Like Crumb Snatcher was a connection. Like we got Crumb Snatcher in the mix because Scientific, rest in peace, was in the mix first, was on my B side of my first single, and he died. So that's how it slid to Crumb. You know what I'm saying? Acrobatic, and those dudes, I just had Acrobatic on my show. Shout out to Acrobatic. You can see that this Sunday coming up.
Yes, sir.
He, you know, like all those dudes are kind of like, I have Concrete Click, my man Joey and them, all that. They was on the move like around probably similar time because I had just got out. You know what I mean? But as far as Boston is feeling artists, I'm still the same way where like I like songs. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily, if dude puts out a good song, you know what I mean? I'm gonna like it, you know. So there's nobody like directly that I'd be like, oh yeah, he's dope, he's whatever. I mean, I know some dudes that I listen to some stuff, Stiz Grimy and you know, a few other guys, even like the Millie's dude. I like some of his shit, and then some other cats, even on like lower levels. But the thing that's amazing to me is that I still see a lot of lists that when they mention great rappers or the best rappers from man, they still include me in list. And to me, that's amazing because I'm quite the senior to like everybody that be on the list. You know what I mean? But it's still love, you know, because it's like, when you think someone's not, see, my shit was like almost like a chameleon, so to speak, because you have to think about, as long as I've been rhyming, the way people rhymed when I was 15, like so. Just imagine if I stayed rhyming like that. You know, you become like a Kumo D, and some of these others. Not no disrespect to that, but they stayed in their style, and it is. So I had to keep evolving. Where like I rock. I'm on joints. I do features all year, so I'm on joints with people that are quite some younger than me. You know, quite a bit. But it just shows you that out of the longevity, you adapt like that, where the style isn't like a dated thing. It's just I rock. You know what I mean? Like I just did doing this thing with Insight, and I did some trap shit that was a trap track, but the song was dope the way it came out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm not opposed to anything. I just, you know, I'm gonna rock to anything. So which in tune, I listen to a lot of shit. So you know what I mean? There's not anybody generally that I feel like that, but if they got a good song or so, I'm gonna listen to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we got the one and only Big Shug. Round of applause for the legend right here. Mattapan stand all the way up. Yes, indeed.
Another thing too is I skipped on mentioning. So I also created the logo. So the thing is, Guru's an artist. So by me explaining what I needed to look like, he was drawing it at the same time. So then when the original story is the star represents him being an intelligent star pupil in the class. You know, that's what he was, because I think he graduated with honors and shit like that and from college. So he had that. Me, the chain represents gang activity, or like, you know, sticks and bats type shit, like how he was.
Right.
So that's me. So that's the original Gangstarr. There's other meanings people said and try to say and make this and that, including himself at one point when I wasn't around, but the honesty is that. So it had to look like that. So when he kept drawing shit, then I was like, okay, yeah, that's that. So then we started going around tagging that shit. You know, he would tag it, big markers and paint, spray paint, and all that. He got into that. And I would just tag my name on it. You know what I'm saying? So you know, when I see the name today, like on this shirt I got on or anything I wear, like you were saying,
absolutely,
it's amazing to me because I know I created this shit. And with him, because he was the hand. You know what I mean? So, you know, hold on, someone's knocking. Could be Eddie. We'll see.
Okay.
You know,
oh boy.
What's good?
Is that Edo?
Nah. They're bringing I needed another fridge in my room. You know what I mean? So they had to come and like and bring it. So I'm gonna move. But Ed had called me while I was talking to you. That's why I was like, yo.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead. What was you saying again? I'm sorry.
I want to I don't want to shed too much light on this because this is one thing I really don't like talking about because it was a suspect situation. But when Guru and Preem kind of separated, not broke up, but just kind of went and did their own thing, Solar came into the picture and totally just ruined, like in my mind, I think he ruined everything that Guru stood for trying to make him out to be something that he wasn't, and ultimately he tried to throw a monkey wrench into what Gangstarr was at that time. Now, you being a street guy, I already know how you felt and what you would have done if you were Big Shug back when you were 15, 16, 17 and everything like that. But as you got older and matured and realized you couldn't do certain things, especially as your catalog got bigger and you became bigger as an artist and you were in the limelight, you certain things you just couldn't do. How did you feel about what Solar was doing, trying to throw a monkey wrench into Gangstarr and all that? Speak on it real quick.
So let me tell you in a nutshell. I never saw him after, like the early times I saw him, you know, I wasn't feeling him. So, you know, we almost had to turn him upside down behind trying to get funny with this weed move. So that was at the Skills video. That was the first time I was about to, you know, helicopter slap the shit out of him. But he went and got he made it right. So then he was cool. That was Guru's man. You know what I mean? So him and Premier and Guru, man, after that situation, they kind of broke, but we was doing tours. So he started bringing Solar, and we was on one tour, and I had words with him, and nobody was feeling him. And then Guru was like, yo, I'm leaving the tour. Like, we had a couple of shows, and we was like, well, he always said shit like that, so we didn't care. And then he really left. So we were in Utah, man. We had to come up. We all sat in the room and devised, like, we still got to rock this show. Matter of fact, we was in Denver. Because that air, I remember that air was wide. So we're in Denver, and Stax was with us. Shout out to Hannibal Stax. I was there, you know. So we had some joints that we could perform, along with some Gangstarr joints. So we explained to the crowd what the deal was, and then we commenced to partying. You know what I mean? And just had a real show. And that's the last time I ever saw Guru ever. So the last 10 years of his life, we didn't even see him. He was being elusive. Places when we thought he was gonna have a show, we would go, and then it was canceled. He was gone. Because if I seen dude, it would have been on, like they like to say now. But I always lived that way at the time, on site, right? And I just asked my man's up. I don't know whatever happened. And Guru, as he whittled down to nothing and died, which was like, it was still a hurting point in my life. You know, as I mentioned in the song "We Miss You" that I did with Preem. You know, I don't know that's the part that gets me. Because he left me this long message, and when I tried to do the star 69, whatever it is, to retrieve the message, like I couldn't get the number, and that's the last time I heard his voice or seen him. You know what I mean? And then, you know, next thing you know, I was at the memorial. His father had Premier and I speak because he said that's what he knew Guru would have wanted. You know what I mean? And for their whole family, their life was forever changed the day that Guru came in and said, I'm going to be a rapper with this dude, Sugar Bear. You know what I'm saying? After going to college all them years. So like I'm a staple in their whole history for life, you know, with that. And it was just sad how that ended. And we still deal with like some stupid shit with him. But like, you know, it's closing out. It's closing out because there's no power that he has. You know what I mean? And, you know, we don't want to give him no energy. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely.
You
That's
know,
why I didn't want to talk about it too much, but I just wanted to hear your side of that whole thing.
Because it's still part of the story, and has soon enough to be a movie and a documentary soon. So, you know, things gonna pop up, but that's just life, man. You know what I'm saying? So, rest in peace, Guru. You know what I'm saying? And you'll always be great in our eyes, and you know,
great in a lot of people's eyes.
No negativity should have any power with him, and we just move forward. We keep representing, man. You know.
So I want to flashback. I want to talk about real quick when the Greatest Hits album came out. I don't think I ever shared this story with you, but both Guru and Premier came to Mattapan Music to do an in-store real quick, and I got a chance to meet both of them, and they both signed it. I wish I still had that double disc.
What year was that?
I want to say this was 1999, 2000 when the Greatest Hits album came out.
Because if I didn't,
this one Full Clip was like,
because if you didn't see me, you missed me because I was there as well. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I know I was there with a whole bunch of people, but just
because Mattapan, anytime they came there, like, well, I mean, you know, I'm here. I'm at everywhere anyway. And then back then they had that. I think Funky Fresh Records now, Dudley. You know, that's what in stores was still prevalent. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's just so much classic times and stuff like that.
Really was.
You
Really
know?
was. So speaking of classic times, let's talk about when the video for Family and Loyalty came out. Because I didn't think we were going to get another Gangstarr album, but Premier had a whole bunch of records that were like sort of half done, that had Guru's voice on it. And I'm glad he did that, because one thing about people that are passed away like Tupac and Big, they would just do these crazy albums that didn't sound like what Pac and Big probably would have done.
Right.
And Premier was like, I'm not doing that to Guru. We have a signature sound that our fan base knows us for. We're going to stick to that. If we ain't doing that, I can't get behind it. And I love when he said that. So when Family and Loyalty came out, and I remember the video when you all were sitting at the round table and J. Cole was on the TV screen, and then the beat started. I'm like, man, if only Guru was alive and well to see this. Like this is like a full circle of just, because Guru was Family and Loyalty, period, hands down.
Right.
Like if you were in his circle, you were in his circle for life, regardless of the beefs or whatever issues y'all had. You always would come back together and make it work. And that song, man, wow. When you heard Family and Loyalty for the first time, knowing that what one of the best yet was going to be, because they are one of the best yet. But when you heard that particular song, especially J. Cole's verse, because he wasn't doing collabs with anybody,
right?
And he did this. And he turned in a monster performance. Like, what is your views on that record? And just speak on how that song and the album was made from your view.
I mean, it was a crafted masterpiece, because doing an album that's posthumous like that, it was great how Premier put it together, including, my participation and things like that. So when I heard the song, it was deep. It was deep. We did the video, and I just was like, man, it was a great thing. The emotions was high too, because, we had another album. It was a masterpiece. And the thing that's crazy, it was done, but right after that, there was COVID. So we were never able to tour on that. And I had just released my album at the time, Diamond Report. So we never even toured, right? So it's crazy how that turned out. You know what I mean? So, but it was a great record. I was great for the time, and we even got some more jewels coming, like even on my album, like I'm 9 songs deep, produced by Premier solely, and I'm also have another project produced by Mr. DL, and a soul project called The Living Room, by the studio, produced by the studio next door. That's a bunch of singing joints over a live band. So there's some joints, man, about to come from Shug. So,
Amen.
I mean, I'm not trying to like push or whatever, but like I got to get ready to rap,
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not gonna keep you much longer. I just want to quickly touch on the podcast that you do, because I've seen the podcast many times, and I've always enjoyed watching you in that element. So speak on your podcast real quick for the people who don't know about it.
I do a podcast called the Danger Zone Podcast. I'm all the way at episode 72, and it's done. I have co-hosts, which is Mr. DL and Chef Tanya Nicole, who assist. Right. It's something. It's just you have a little fun and current hip hop, current some sports events. We usually have a guest on there, like such as yourself, where we've been in depth. We've had everybody from Pete Rock to Dana, former NBA player Dana Barrows, to Garen Veris from used to play for the Patriots. We've had producers, man, Nick Speed. So many different people. What's the drum dude? That's my man too. I just can't think of everything right now. But Edo has been on, and we Terminology. So many man people. Sadat X, shout out. I could go on. So it's been really good, and because I call the chips. You know what I'm saying? I call the chips, and people like come right. They no hesitation. You know what I mean? So that's been a beautiful thing, because it shows you all the connections that you made. You know what I mean? And how people really felt you. And they always say the same things about Shug was snapping like crazy, or they remember certain instances. They all got a song that they know. See, that's the crazy thing about hip hop. Even platinum motherfuckers and whatever would know songs that I did. And it's crazy to show you that they actually are listening to everything. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember a few years back doing BT Hip Hop Awards I went to, and DJ Khaled, new songs, you know what I mean? DJ Drama, new people knew shit like, and I was like, wow, okay. It shows you that they be listening to some hip hop shit because it's just a beautiful thing, man. And we're gonna continue to do the podcast, and that's just one thing of many things I'm doing. But it's been fun. It's been enlightening, and I believe with that, as probably such as yourself, the best is yet to come.
One thing I want to say, and I think I've told you this, but I want to see if you have a good memory. What's my favorite song that you have that I told you that I really love when it came out? Let's see if you remember.
I mean, there's so many songs, brother, that I came from, man.
It was Play It.
Oh, play it. Yeah, we'll be rocking that tomorrow. Yeah,
man. Because
sure.
The way that you did the verse and then you got into the singing part with the scratches behind it, I was telling when the song came out and I was playing around my friends, I'm like, "Are you listening to this?" And they was like, "Yo, who's that singing?" I'm like, "That's Shug. Like, he really sings for real." He's like, "That's him doing that?" I'm like, "Yo, that showed you how much of an artist he is, where he can bring the bars and then bring the harmony and still keep it street all at the same damn time." So for that.
So respect, but you know what's so funny about that is that when that song came out and I was going to Europe, people would be going to shows too and stuff like that, and they would be like, "Yo, people were coming to see Shug if you really sing like that and shit like that." And I was like, "Yo, you know what I mean?" It really was what it was, and how it is now. Like what happens is Premier's playing the beat, So the flow right there, I already had the flow before even the music, but then when I hear that, I'll do that and still let the music play. I'm hearing that. So then I'll be like, yo, let's switch that. So and dude, I've heard that shit in so many variations. Let the music play. Hey, Shug, let the music play. Everywhere. It's still to this day. People come up saying, so it's crazy. It's probably as a solo artist, that's probably my biggest song.
Yeah.
Out of my songs. Like I'm talking about popularity wise.
Right.
Video music box was killing that, like on so many different shit. So, like that's one thing I like to do anyway is when it calls for it to sing the hook. You know what I mean? So, that's why so many people have asked for years for a singing album, and that's why I have, one in the works right now. So, it's cool, it's soulful, it's soulful, sexy, and rugged too. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Some real soul type shit. So it's what it is.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. So let's get into what's happening tomorrow, because that's the reason why you're here.
Right.
Shout out to Black Market. Shout out to Chris and Kai. So for those, let me just premise this real quick. For anyone that's 25 and under, the block parties was how we networked when we was coming up in the hip hop game. Anyone will tell you the block parties was where you networked, where you brought your business cards, where you would have ciphers, where you do all of this. So tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to Black Market. They're going to shut down Dudley Street and have the illest block party, not simply because, not just for hip hop, celebrating 50 years of hip hop, but it's cool to see Black people support Black businesses all in the same space. No negativity, no violence, all peace, all love, with good music. We're gonna have a superstar lineup. Ed OG is gonna be there. Big Shug's gonna be there. I didn't even know Nicest Who was gonna be there until you had mentioned that.
Right.
We got a lineup tomorrow that's gonna be super fantabulous. And if you haven't heard, there's a certain DJ coming by the name of DJ Premier. You may have heard of that name. It's going to be an amazing night. So for those that don't know, Shug, can you just speak on this block party tomorrow? Promote this shit out of it. Floor is yours.
I'm going to take it like this. So tomorrow, it's the Buy Back the Block initiative. Put on by Black Nubian Market. Shout out to Kai and Chris.
Yes, sir.
Very strong power couple. Really doing a lot of great things. There's going to be some some celebrations of people as well. Tito Jackson, a former mayor candidate, and activist and a politician from the city.
Salute to
The
Tito.
Funk
Yep.
Effects group, they'll be honored as well, and also Andrea, I believe Herbert Majors.
Okay.
She's a legendary dance instructor and dancer. So, and along with that, this will be from 1 to 6 p.m. Block party, over 25 vendors. The performances will be myself, Big Shug, Edo G, Planet Patrol from back in the day.
Playing
Also,
your own risk. Come
yeah,
on.
you know, nice and smooth. And of course, the last 2 hours will be closed out by DJ Premier.
Yes, sir.
So, and some other treats. So this is something that's going to be terrific. I'm looking forward, as we all are. I'm actually getting ready to connect with Cass tonight.
Okay.
And see what we're gonna do. We try to go out and have a drink or two on the town, and get ready for tomorrow, man. So it's gonna be a beautiful thing. So if y'all listening, come down to Dudley Square, Nubian Square is called now. It's so crazy to me because I grew up there. I did a town show with Guru, a couple of them at Roscoe's Lounge that used to be there years ago. Met Bobby Brown there when he was like 15 on the bus. You know what I mean? We had cars, but we would get on buses just so we could get in the back of the bus and do our routines.
Right.
One time we got up in front of Eugene's, and Bobby Brown was on there, and he was 15, almost 16. And me and Guru was doing our thing and we're talking and shit with him. So, you know what I'm saying? It's been it'll be a beautiful thing. So come out. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, man, shout out to Rhea Love. She'll be on merchandise. My other son will be there too, doing holding her down and family and such. So, it's gonna be a great event, man.
Yes, it
Looking
is.
forward to it. And hope to see all y'all there, man, for real.
Oh, and shout out to my man DJ Dex too. We'll also be on the turntables tomorrow afternoon as well. So salute to DJ Dex as well.
For sure.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Teddy Ted from the Awesome too as well.
Yeah,
he'll be DJing for Nice and Smooth,
Of course, you gotta. So in closing, I just want to ask you, you have been in the game now for a good chunk of time. I don't like to put years out there because I don't want to like date rappers and say, "Oh, your time is coming up," or because you got a long way to go. But hip hop as a whole has definitely come a long way. We couldn't even be seen on TV, and now every type of business uses hip hop in some way, shape, or form to promote their stuff. You being one of the front runners for hip hop from grassroots to where you are now, do you like the direction that it's going, or is there something that you have yet to see that you would still like to see, and why?
I mean, as long as you have a bunch of artists like from my era, so to speak, and that time, and the people that's still doing that music, the boom bap and such, and even doing the other music you hear today, the way hip hop's done. To me, the direction is dope because there's always growth, and you're gonna infuse, newness into music all the time, from hip hop to rock and roll to jazz, whatever. So I respect it all. I embrace it all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep doing my music. I remember many years ago we were on a Jazz tour, and I saw some dudes that were on tour. That Donald Byrd, rest in peace, great player himself. He knew these dudes. They were older than him at the time. He was like 60 something then, and them dudes were older. They were on tour, and I was like, damn. And the dude told me, forget his name, well, he smoked a little weed together, and he was like, yo, you can do this, man, for the rest of your life, man, as long as you just take care, smoke a little weed, right, and play your instruments, right. And I remember dude was like 70 plus, and we were in Switzerland at the Montreux Jazz Festival, and that dude had like about another 15, 16 dates. I just thought it was amazing, So that inspired me to be like, yo, as long as I'm breathing, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna keep on doing this thing, along with movie shit I be doing, whatever's popping. I'm gonna keep on pushing that envelope and keep doing it, man. Love is love, and it is what it is. And for those out there listening to, you want to get at me at Big Shug Gangstarr on Instagram. It was Shug Gangstarr Foundation, but lames who ain't got nothing to do hacked it. So right when I got to 20,000 followers or something, boom. That don't make me. We gonna hop up again. So you go to Big Shug Gangstarr on Facebook. You got Big Shug. You know what I'm saying? And everything that connects. Google me if you want to find out other shit. And we're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna rock tomorrow, 1 to 6 p.m. Nubian
Yes,
be there.
One.
The performance started at 3:00. So
okay, get there early.
Right. If not, then you're gonna miss the good shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. One last thing I want to talk about because I know this is very, very close to you, and then we're gonna go. Recently, we just lost Dave from De La Soul.
Mm-hmm.
What as an MC and a creative artist such as yourself and a creative writer, what was how big of a loss was this to lose Dave, and what did he mean to you personally? Because I'm sure you all have hung out a few times over the many years. And if you haven't, just talk about Dave's legacy in your view.
Well, Dave and to me, De La Soul and Dave, they were always so dope because they were doing a different brand. They were doing hip hop, but they were doing their own style and brand of hip hop, which you had hardcore cats that were trying to do a harder style that they were right in the mix with Flower Church and Daisies and spitting the way they did and intelligent and being like on some shit and it was right there and they was hitting bangers and they was really rhyming some fly shit. Like you said, I seen Dave and them, a lot of rappers from that time. You were touring, so you were seeing everybody everywhere. Parties in LA, San Diego, Arizona. You be somewhere you're gonna run into them. So we had a lot of conversation, a lot of laughs, different things performed on the same bills and shit like that. Mm-hmm. I felt it was a great loss because just as like Guru, once someone is gone, you have another member, same thing as Prodigy, rest in peace, but you'll no longer have the group. So what his involvement was and what his contribution was so grand. And because of music is invincible. So you'll hear music for the rest of your life as you're here. So his music will live on beyond him and beyond us. You know what I mean? And it was a great loss. But, after pain comes ease. Yeah. So what I mean is that it's a painful thing, but then it becomes easy as time goes along. But the memory will also be strong. The presence will always remain strong. And the soul will always remain strong. So the music lives forever, man. Rest in peace. True Dub. Yeah, I mean, True Goy, the Dub. And,
celebrate his legacy tomorrow as well when you celebrate Guru's. Absolutely.
All those. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just say thank you to Big Shug for taking this time out of his busy schedule. I know he's got a lot of things he has to do, but he really just took time to break bread, and I totally appreciate that. And from one brother to another, man, thank you for letting me share stages with you. Got to know you as a friend. It was always love every time we met. And man, thank you for being who you are and a great influence and a positive contribution to what hip hop is, what hip hop was, and what hip hop will be. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Shug.
Yes, sir.
Let them know how they can find you on social media one more time, my friend.
Yeah, on social media, Instagram, Big Shug Gangstarr, one word. On Twitter, The Real Big Shug. On Facebook, Big Shug. You know what I mean? And then you Google me and you find movie shit and all other shit too. So, you know what I mean? And if you like watching movies at the crib, you can see me in Black Mass. I'm a principal actor, so I speak in every shit. All them shit. Black Mass, the Whitey Bulger story with Johnny Depp. The Heat with Melissa McCarthy. And what's our girl? I can't think of that. I'm up here sipping and smoking. So with Melissa McCarthy, I'm in there. Sandra Bullock. I'm in The Town with Ben Affleck, Spencer Confidential, with Mark Wahlberg, and the list goes on. And I'm still working on new shit too. So if you like movies, check that shit out. So, I appreciate you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to get up out of here, man, and get some nightlife, and we'll get up. Thanks for having me and appreciate you.
All right, man. Have fun tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. Big Shug. Good luck, my friend. See y'all next week. Rap Sheet Podcast, we out.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, my man.